about to ice this bad boy and show you a little of the aftermath. So, as you can see, I'm blistering up pretty good. It's painful, but I gotta sit down for a second.
Tattoos, tattoos, tattoos.
I used to draw on myself all the time. When I was 13, I tattooed myself, stick and poke in the shed next to the mower.
I actually did my first tattoo on my mother when I was 14.
I was a graphic artist, but I dropped that without even notice the second I could tattoo.
I think if you love tattoos, you should be covered with tattoos.
Something just happened when I got that tattoo. I fell in love with it.
When you really get tattooed, it really sucks. But then when you're done, it's like, man.
I gave my mother her first tattoo when she was 51, and now she's kind of sold on it. She wants sleeves.
It's not uncommon for you to see an 18-year-old kid or 19-year-old kid with full sleeves these days, or neck tattoos, or hand tattoos, or even face tattoos.
It's more peculiar to hear somebody say they don't have a tattoo than they do have a tattoo.
It's not just for sailors and whores anymore, it's every walk of life.
So now this generation is a tattooed generation where it wasn't before.
I would wear them out on purpose to kind of be like, I'm crazy. Like, don't fuck with me. Look what I...
If it's done right and you have a great tattoo, it's empowering.
Some people get a few tattoos when they're young and decide they don't like them. Sometimes you end up like me and don't know when to stop.
I don't have a favorite tattoo because I was smart enough to get really good tattoos.
It's just cool to have. Like when I go to Venice Beach with my 3-year-old in it down the boardwalk, people fucking break their neck turning around.
My mom said, please don't do it, and it made me want to do it more.
I think Cher said it the best. She's like, it's my body. If I want to put tits on my back, it's no one's business but mine. Awesome, I love that.
Rather than getting stuff removed, I wish I could just grow like another arm.
Like I'm tattooed, you know, and I like it. It's cool. You know, tattoos are fucking cool.
People always ask me, you know, why did you get that piece removed? It didn't represent what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I made a mistake. You have an instant gratification when you get a tattoo. When you have it removed, you have no instant gratification. You have no idea of how long it's truly gonna take because you think you know, but until you get into it and you see the tattoo actually removing, you have no idea. I realized that I had gotten this cover up and I had gone too far. You think you're alone in the beginning and you are not. There's so many people that are going through this. I have 8 tattoos. 1 on my finger, 1 on my arm, 1 on my wrist, 2 that are on the back of my right arm, and then a total of 3 that make for a half sleeve. Usually when you get a half sleeve or full sleeve, you want to have a whole concept picked out. Not necessarily, but for me, that's what I wanted. I wish I would have outlined it and done it in a step-by-step process instead of doing a bunch of things and then trying to correlate it together. And then the color scheme's just too bright for me. So today, I'm gonna embark on a journey. This is my 3rd tattoo removal session. I'm getting the back of my arm here. You can already see ink is starting to fade away a little bit. And the cool thing is, because I'm whiter than white, I have actually better results in healing and the ink going away faster. So Pretty cool. Then I'm gonna get my ring finger done as well. We'll do that one without the numbing cream though. Again, because I want to remember the fact that I'm an idiot and I should not have got that on my ring finger. Here's the aftermath. Now you want to keep this thing iced periodically through the night. Here is the unraveling of my new arm. So, a little bit painful, as you can see. We're gonna keep it moisturized. Kind of the same type of stuff that you see when you get a tattoo. Third session, there'll be many more. It's terrible. It's not a good feeling. However, you think about the light on the other side. You think about, you know, having it removed or maybe putting a cover up on top of it. And it gets you through it, you know? Think before you make. That's how you know.
People ask me, you know, how long have people been doing this, or why are you doing this to your body? People have been getting tattooed since the beginning of time.
Tattoo businesses had a stigma behind it, that it was drug dealers and gangsters and bikers and convicts and sailors.
You know, when I first started getting like heavily tattooed and visibly tattooed, I'd be at Target and people would stare until you made eye contact and they'd look away. But now I'm kind of the opposite, because now it's like everyone wants to just fucking grab your arm and like, oh man, check out mine, you know, and it's this old lady pulling her sleeve up and showing me a tribal armband, like, come on, like, just fuck off.
Tattoo got more popular and popular. I remember when I got my first tattoo, I was 18, I'm 36 right now. At the time, having a sleeve was crazy, but nowadays, man, like 18 years old, girls have tattoos, full sleeve and neck and the face. Like, whoa, what happened?
Every year we say, man, it's not gonna get any better than this. This is it, man. This is the best it's ever gonna be. And every year it just got better. The body piercing industry boom in the 90s really transformed the tattoo industry. Brought in a lot different clientele to a tattoo studio that would have never went to a tattoo studio.
People you normally wouldn't see, surgeons come in here and get a tattoo.
Anybody can get tattooed and still get a job. You know, you may eliminate some potential employers based on where you get tattooed, but as far as actually having tattoos, I think there's very few places out there that'll just say absolutely not because you have them.
The culture is obviously more accepted in society today than it was even 10 years ago when I started. Like, see it more as an art form now than like, hey, you're a biker, or, you know, you're a criminal automatically. You know, people look at it and say, wow, that's beautiful art.
Now that it's become so much more socially acceptable, to be able to be in a high retail district where Best Buy 2 doors down from me, Forever 21 across the hallway from me, and H&M is my next door neighbor, you know, is phenomenal.
When I started 21 years ago, there weren't very many female tattooers. The guy who taught me, I think, could recognize that the clientele was becoming like almost half female.
Now it's starting to be seen in the public, and they're saying, oh wow, I don't have to get just a mom heart with a banner around it, or a hula girl dancing on my forearm.
Now we take the time to to plan out large pieces, make sure that we're putting proper artwork on people as opposed to just picking something off the wall and saying go. That's making the difference because people are seeing far more impressive artwork coming out of tattooing as opposed to just the run-of-the-mill flash work.
You have a generation that's growing up that's being a little bit more open-minded, and you're seeing that art form evolve as the generation evolves.
It's been about 2.5 months. The arm, it's amazing how much it's actually disappeared. It's really, really neat. I'm getting ready to go to Denver. They have the latest and greatest laser. It's called the Quanta DNA laser. I'm a little bit frightened and scared to go through this procedure, I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? Such is life. I messed up and I'm ready to, doing step one, going to Denver. I'm ready to start this process like you would not believe, and I am ready to fly with the birds in the sky. I'm getting ready. I'm about to shave my arm to get it nice and clean. As they're lasering, I do not want the smell of burnt hair. So I'm going to start shaving here in a bit. I'm actually a little bit excited about heading in there. I've gained confidence on this trip just by talking to the doctors. Quanta DNA lasers sound incredible, and a little bit anxious to see the aftermath of what's going to happen. So yeah, we're there. So rethink the ink. Here we come. You and I have had our moments together, but you're too colorful for me, so full of emotion and life. I feel like I'm gonna have to let you go. This is where we're gonna get a divorce, and I'm gonna replace you with something even more badass. I'm here for my first laser session.
You are.
Go on. Victor, Rethink the Ink.
Rethink the Ink is state-of-the-art laser tattoo removal. We're basically one of the few in the United States to carry an all-in-one full-color removal tattoo removal system.
Actually, a little bit a part of all of it, but there's green and blue underneath this.
The guy who did my first treatment, I just didn't like the feel of his office, the way I was treated, and I was like, man, somebody needs to do this better.
Now we're gonna get started.
The general public is not aware of how technology, how far that leap has really advanced. It almost feels a little like tattooing, except with electricity. The laser's fired on what's called a chromophore. Chromophore is what the laser's actually looking to be attracted to. It's actually going to crystallize the ink, and then your body, your scavenger cells are going to come and find it and remove it from your body. Basically, your immune system attacks and dissolves it and removes it naturally. 50% of the equation is going to be what technology is used on yourself. What the effectiveness of that laser treating that area, doing its proper job. The other 50% is up to your body's immune system to go ahead and carry away that ink. Either the lifestyle has changed or personally, internally, something's changed that drives them to either want to lose it, change it.
Ouch.
We'll go from the million-dollar banker with a Grateful Dead on his ankle to a kid that in a moment of just utter silliness put any numeral signs on their neck.
No tanning or suntanning or long.
This is kind of awesome looking.
Keep all your bandages on.
Something more special with more meaning has happened in their lives, and they'd like to kind of put that page of their life behind them and start a new page.
Wow. So my arm's definitely swelled up quite a bit. The black is almost gone. Yeah. All right, this is the recap of the nightly events. This is after washing off. Still have quite a bit of scabbing going on, or blistering, I should say. Hopefully no scabbing. I've been draining it all night. Swelling is pretty massive. Kind of feel like the Hulk a little bit. The black here is completely gone. You can see a little where it was. Now it's already. Yeah, we'll be cleaning this up, icing it all day, taking lots of Tylenol. It's not as painful as you would think. It's just more, it looks a lot worse than it is, I guess. Jealous? Are you jealous today?
Not so much regret because they're all part of my experiences and stuff, but I would have got different things now than I did when I was 18, but those remind me of that person when I was 18.
10 years ago, what you thought was fucking happening is just lame now, you know what I mean? So I think that goes with a lot of tattoos.
I think it can get overdone like anything sometimes. It can be overused, it can be oversaturated.
Sometimes someone thought, you know, had a lapse in judgment, decided to let their friend tattoo him in the basement and got a bad tattoo. Or someone thought to themselves, I'm gonna be a badass, I'm gonna tattoo my whole neck.
I was a little naive when I got the tattoo. Didn't research as much, and I didn't ask enough questions. When I saw the drawing, I was like, okay, well, he's an artist. He's gonna do what I want him to do. When it was all said and done, I really wasn't happy with the tattoo when it was finished.
I have, like, my lower back was tattooed. It's basically from the bra strap down. We tried to come up with a design that worked, that made my back look like it was planned, a full back piece. And we drew on my back 3 times probably, and we could never draw anything that looked cohesively planned. It just always looked like I had this and then I added this, you know? And your back piece is, you know, your main canvas. You could do something so awesome. So I've gone for 11 laser treatments, and it really hurts. Blisters every time and bleeds. It's just horrible, but it heals pretty quickly, and afterwards it's lighter.
I've gone through numerous tattoo removals in different parts of my body. I've done my hand, trachea, neck area right here. I've lasered off my ribs. And I'm working on this little thing on my thumb, which was supposed to be an Aztec 13, but it ended up being an 8. We got it wrong, so.
Nowadays, though, my tattoos look like shit compared to what they're doing now, you know? And that's one of the main reasons why I'm getting most of all my tattoos removed, you know? Just so I could have either nothing or some really nice work, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna get both my arms pretty much, because I just wanted better stuff, and at this point I'm just out of room, you know? Like, I do tattoos every day, and I see my friends do tattoos every day, and then I'm like, man, I wish I was wearing that.
I'm Lauren Zanuto. I'm studying right now to be a forensic psychologist.
My name's Christopher Munch. I'm starting on my master's degree in mental health and military social work.
My name is Marissa Pitts. I work with people who are trying to either modify their home or do a bankruptcy to save it.
I'm Jamie. I'm a comedian and actress. I got my first tattoo when I was 18.
My first tattoo I got when I was 12. I was very, very young, and it was stupid. I don't recommend it.
I have one that starts from my shoulder, goes all the way down to my thigh, my entire sleeve. I have one on my foot, 2 in my mouth, had a black light tattoo on my hand that you can't see anymore, 2 on my hips, 5 on my back.
I started getting ink when I was 15, and it took me until I was 26 years old to think, oh crap, like, this is actually going to impact my future. There was a moment there in time where every Friday I went into the tattoo parlor with my paycheck. And I was at his shop one day hanging out, 18 years old, and I said, hey, let's tattoo my face. And he's like, you serious? I said, yeah. And then next thing you know, I drew up one stencil, and he's like, that's perfect. And he took off with it. I don't know where he went. And I was sat there drawing, kind of still thinking about it. And 15 minutes later, I'm laying down and they're running lines on my face. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? But then I was like, well, I'm committed, let's go.
I had a friend of mine told me, she goes, hey, she knows this, it was a neighbor on Riverside that had just gotten out of jail. and he does tattoos. He would do it for a 40s of Mickey's. I was like, awesome, because I'm 12 and I have no money. And I walk into his front yard and I was like, okay, I want to get, I had Scorpion, I want to get some Scorpio. And then I wanted somewhere my parents wouldn't see it right away. Now I look back, it's so unsanitary. I never really regretted it, it's just, it's ugly.
I was kind of like a troubled teen. Not like troubled, like going out and stealing stuff or whatever, but like emotionally, like just sad and didn't have a good sense of self and any confidence. My theory was that if I wore the costume of like a badass, it would cover up the insecurities.
I had decided I wanted flames on my arm, and I think I was about 19 at the time when I got it done, and I was letting a friend do it. He was apprenticing. And then about 2 months after that, I had decided that I wanted to go into the military. They have a rule that you can't have a tattoo on more than 3/4 of the exposed body part. So they had told me that in order to finish the enlistment process, I had to get it removed.
I think I kind of liked it for like a few months, and then I started realizing the repercussions.
The one on the arm when I was 17. I hit about 18 and I hated it. It's just like, what did I do? Bad mistake. I look at pictures with my arm and I just never liked it. I've never found it aesthetically pleasing to me. I feel like I've just kind of conglomerated stuff on top of it to make it look okay.
Every summer, since I've had these tattoos, I would do extensive research about laser tattoo removal. And I found a dermatologist and I went for a consultation. He made me so uncomfortable. He doesn't even say hello or introduce himself. He just looked at me and said, the colors are shit. When it's something so personal and so painful and something that affects every part of your life, like you would think that a doctor would know to be more sensitive.
I thought it was going to be a lot easier, honestly, because the doctor made it seem like, oh, we're just going to do a few sessions and, you know, you should be done with it. But at the beginning, they tried using laser and they noticed that the skin wasn't reacting to it. We either have two more ways. One, we're going to do the freeze burn, which is the compressed CO2, or there was even talk of skin grafting, where they take off your skin and they put on like a corpse's skin. So I didn't want that option, but we tried to do the CO2, and that one didn't really work either.
I've had over 15 tattoos removed. If I sat here and counted, I could probably isolate each one. Starting it was the most excruciating, painful experience of my life. A chemical called witch hazel is supposed to be a bleaching agent. So I mixed that 50-50 witch hazel and peroxide. I bought a tattoo gun and I started tattooing that into my own face. Didn't really quite see the results I thought I was going to expect. So then I looked into it even further and I found a chemical called TCA. It's an acid treatment that basically eats away at the layers of epidermis. And 99% of the people I came across didn't think I would do it. Some of my close friends knew I was dumb enough to try it. So I went ahead and did it, and I ran layers in my face one night by myself in my mirror. I could watch the acid eat into my face, and it burned in so deep that it went past the skin into the subcutaneous. It got so deep that it wasn't even bleeding anymore.
Because people were so disturbed by the blisters on my arm, one of my friends that wanted to see it, but they didn't live here in Fresno, so I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a quick video of it. I uploaded it, not thinking about it, and I just put it on my YouTube so my friend could see it. And then it started getting popular. I think right now it has about 6 million hits. It's pretty intense.
Oh, fucking nasty. Look at this shit. Oh.
I liked it because I felt like it challenged me, because it was like, oh, you really want to change, or you really want to remove this? Well, how far are you willing to go to remove it? You know, at what point will you stop? And each time it kept getting worse and more painful and more extreme and more expensive. And there was plenty of times where I should have probably just turned back, but I wanted to see it through. After the acid treatment and I healed from that, there was still some residue left of the ink. You know, I could still see it. And I resorted to the most primitive thing that you could think of. I burned it out. I took a soldering gun, plugged it in, heated it up, you know, said my goodbyes and stepped up and literally burned it off of my face. It was excruciating. It was another enlightening experience to be able to administer that type of pain to myself to get to where I wanted to go in life.
The only thing that's more badass than having a tattoo across your chest is having one removed. It can be so frustrating when you see your tattoo every day. It seems like it's never going away. But when you have a record to look at of like, oh, wow, like thick black lines and then slowly fading, it's encouraging. My blog has like more, and like somebody sent me $10 the other day that just to be like, good luck.
My mom got tired of looking at it. She was sad that I had ruined my arm is how she saw it. And so I just decided, you know, I'm gonna cover it.
I don't want to make the same mistake as when I got the tattoos and just go with the first place that drew it up for me. I wanted to make like an educated decision for once because it's a big thing, you know.
I didn't want to be that kind of person. People are like, oh, well, she didn't finish because it was too painful. Or, oh, she didn't finish because, you know, she didn't want to go into the military. I don't like leaving things unfinished, and I wanted to finish what I started.
Felt like when you first get a tattoo, except after he leaves that area of the skin, it doesn't hurt at all. He started to hit right here, that hurt. Right here, this little area right here, that did not feel good on that laser frequency. It's in my armpit, nobody's gonna see it.
I'm 11 sessions into my half sleeve, and I'm 6 sessions into my back of my right arm. Almost all the black is gone. Some of the blues, a lot of the yellows, greens, most of the reds have already been faded away. Really remarkable. My left finger is actually completely removed at this point, and it took about 5 sessions. I wasn't sure how it was going to be, and now that I'm a year in, it just feels like it's getting easier and easier every time. I feel like ideas are coming for what I want to put there, and I can kind of start to see that light at the end of the tunnel. The home stretch is coming, but yeah, we got about another year before that comes, so we're at second base. We worked on the blues, yellow, orange, but it's really fading quick. I know it's kind of hard to see with this on it, but it's coming along really, really nicely.
My name's Matt Arnold. Always been a big fan of tattoos ever since I was 11 years old. I used to draw tattoos on my friends, on myself, just different things, Spider-Man and Superman and skulls, crossbones, everything like that.
Well, I can definitely tell you guys are pretty sincere. You know, that's good. It had some good results. And then on the other one, we'll use the big dog.
I have a tattoo that I wanted removed, and I started checking into it, and I went down to now one of our competitors. It was just sheer unadulterated hell. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna mix words. It was like somebody poured hot bacon grease all over my back. When I was done, they packed me with ice and walked out the room, and I just laid there and wept. I couldn't stop myself, just big old alligator tears running down my face. 2 weeks later, I looked at my tattoo and it looked exactly the same. That doesn't seem right to me. So I got online and I got on the phone and started checking into different things, and their technology was just dated.
My name's Jeff Goyette. I've been a tattoo artist since 1990. Between 1990 and 95, we didn't hear of tattoo removal, but there was an organization called the Alliance of Professional Tattooists, and there was a doctor in there that brought forth the idea of tattoo removal for the artist. I was refusing 5 to 10 tattoos a week that were coming in that were absolutely horrible. They were just so bad that I didn't want to do the cover-up. So back in 1999, we got our first laser. You know, there was so many oppositions of, why are you doing that? You're a tattoo artist. You can give your client the best of both worlds. You can offer them some treatments in your tattoo facility, and you can also help them lighten that tattoo.
I think tattoo removal is starting to become more and more of an acceptable thing that, hey, you know what, I don't like this work, or I don't like the placement of this, I want to get something different, or I don't want anything at all. In fact, we had a guy come in and he had carpet diem down the back of his arm, and the guy spelled diem wrong. He spelled it D-E-E. We just removed just 2 little spots on the E to turn it into an I. Anything that's traumatic that's happened to you, it's ingrained into you. I mean, it's a memory that's just locked in there no matter what. And when you get a tattoo, it's the same situation. You can tell me who you were with. You can tell me what your artist looked like. You can tell me what it was like when you got that tattoo. And that moment is always brought up every time you look at that tattoo. And people will come in and they'll erase that moment out of their life. Not permanently, but the constant reminder. Every time they look at their forearm, it takes them back to that moment. It's an opportunity for them to leave that behind. So a great physics experiment for you, if you want to try it out, is if you take a crayon and put it into a frying pan and put it on medium heat and set it on your stove, it's going to melt that crayon out. But if you take a Chinese wok and heat that wok up until it's glowing red and drop a crayon into it, it turns to a crystal just like that. And that's what we do. That's the physics behind it. We come in and we hit that ink with intense heat at a billionth of a second, and it turns it from a liquid to a crystal. Now all of a sudden your body recognizes a foreign substance and naturally attacks it. So it exfoliates naturally through your lymphatic system, and so, lack of a better term, you piss it out at the end of the day.
Laser removal has kind of progressed kind of along the same time that I have. Like, it started around the time that I started tattooing, like early 90s. And I've seen it kind of come along a long way. And I was always, you know, fuck that, you know, like, I'm not getting anything lasered. But, you know, at the end of the day, like, we live once. If the technology's there to let me start over, so what? You know, if you want to hate me, I'm too old for that. I don't care. In all actuality, it's kind of like rejuvenating my love and passion for getting tattooed.
I embrace tattoo removal. And for me, that's going to be the next aspect to the business, is that it goes hand in hand.
There's no tattoo that's perfect. They're all flawed. I know where every single one of the flaws on my tattoos are because they're mine. It's like your car. You know where every scratch is because it's your car. But if I see your car, I don't see the scratches. I just see your car.
Sometimes you have to recycle yourself. If there's something that makes you feel negative, you know, get rid of it. If you don't want to look at that every day and feel that like pain or whatever. But you get it at the point in your life when you need it.
Removable? Yeah. That's good because there's a lot of bad tattoos out there too, you know? When you're young, you don't know any better and you just wanted to get a tattoo, then you get tattooed by not professional people, like a house or some party.
When I started tattooing, you couldn't buy supplies on Amazon and eBay, but now you can. So anybody who feels like trying to tattoo is just doing it, you know? And we may not be able to remove the herpes syphilades you get out of that garage tattoo, but we can cover it.
There's tattoo artists out there that don't believe that you should remove them. And I respect that philosophy, I do. I really do respect that. They love tattooing so much and they feel that once you get it, it's part of your life, it's a part of who you are. Well, I'm from a different time and era, and I have a different way of thinking. I believe that this is my body.
I do not feel like tattoo removal is a threat to my industry. I'm glad that it's there as an option because it makes my job easier. Even if a person can get something lightened enough, then I can go in and put something over it that's more maybe what they want to get.
It hurts more to take off a tattoo. And it really, once you take off some tattoos, it really makes you focus up on the next tattoo you're gonna get.
So I've had 15 sessions now, 7 on the inside of my arm and 8 on the outside. I'm at a place where I can start going to different artists and see how much lighter they want the tattoo to be. Every time I did it, there was less blistering, there was less reaction. I am going on 3 years now of having this thing laser removed, and it's still here. It still exists. It's light enough to cover, or getting really close. But man, it's been a journey. It's way better on this end of it than it is in the beginning. I decided I wanted to be laser certified. I wanted to know how the skin reacts. I know how I'm reacting, but I needed to know what the technology is actually doing to your skin, why you react the way you do, why certain ink colors come out easier than others. I felt like I could help others a little bit more, give them more insight of what to expect when getting a treatment done. It's much harder to remove a tattoo completely than it is to remove a tattoo to the point of getting a cover-up. I'm the perfect example and story. Look at my arm. Where is it at now? 3 years in. You know, I'm as white as they get. I get great results, and this is 3 years later. So you make the decision.
Friends who don't have tattoos go, love the idea I'm taking off a tattoo, but don't understand why I'm getting tattoos added at the same time. They're like, that makes no sense. And then I have friends who have the tattoos, they're like, why are you removing the tattoo? That makes no sense. You're supposed to love it because it's on your body and at your life choice. And I think that's amazing that they feel that. That's just not how I feel. Like I'm removing something on my body that I just wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror. It doesn't make me feel, and a lot of it, I don't want to say pretty in that sense, but it's like it doesn't make me feel like it's really me anymore. I just don't like it. I don't feel attractive with it.
The removal process started out at first finding out what in the hell it was all about. Some will do it for free, some will do a test spot, some won't, and then I went out and I started poking around these different places and meeting with the doctors, and they're speaking foreign languages. Oh, we have the Revlite LT2000, you know, with the Prism Spectrum inhalator, you know.
A lot of blogs and like doctor's offices sites say it's comparable to getting a tattoo. It's not. It's way worse.
For me, I would say the laser, they kind of described it before I was getting it as if you snap your rubber band on your skin, like the pinging.
Imagine you drop something into a pit of hot grease, like you're deep frying French fries. You drop something in there that you can't live without. You reach in for it, and you're looking for it. And at the same time, your arm is just undergoing this, you're frying your arm, basically.
It's funny because I always forget what it feels like, and then when I'm laying there, I'm like, oh yeah. And then that sound.
Once the blisters start pulling on your skin is so stretched. It's just, that to me was the most painful part, was having my skin stretched to the size of a kiwi and having the sun hit it, and it just felt like the world's worst sunburn.
These sneaky websites use the same pictures that they didn't even do. Like that freaking eagle. We all, like, really, you all removed a black eagle from some guy's arm?
Oh, you know, I've talked to some of the people based on my video, and never, ever, ever try home removal. Number one, don't do it. Don't try and use sandpaper, that causes infections. Don't try bleaching your skin, that doesn't work. If you really want it to get removed, you need to first do some research. See who in your area can do it. Check out the prices and be competitive. There's a lot more options now. There's a lot more people that can do it.
Don't buy the first package that you come across. Don't call the first tattoo removal spot that's willing to give you a free treatment, a free consultation, and then ask you to sign a contract for $5,000 for 5 treatments or whatever they're offering. Figure out what it's actually gonna cost. Shop around, you know, and unfortunately, that's on the consumer. That's our responsibility as someone getting a tattoo removed. I need to learn the market before the market takes advantage of me.
Just one buddy of mine said, hey, if you know how to draw, you can tattoo. And I said, I don't even know what a tattoo machine looks like. He just kind of egged me on, and I did it and fell in love with it and never looked back. Actually, it was kind of weird. Nobody gave me an opportunity. I'm the type of person, if you're not going to give me an opportunity, I'm going to create my own opportunity. So I just started tattooing and went from there. I took pride in what I did, and I always tried to learn and be the best at what I did. And then years later, when I finally opened my shop, Those couple of those same guys came to me and tried to get a job. It was so funny. I put my hand out to shake their hand because I said, I want to thank you, because if not, then I'd be in that shithole with you and stuck there, Tattoos are supposed to enhance or give something profound to the client. I've had clients come to me who have tattoos on their arm where they're so insecure, they don't want to take their shirt off because the tattoo sucks, and I fixed that tattoo for them. It's like I've given them a whole new arm. I mean, those are lifetime clients because they trust me that much. Like a lot of artists, they tattoo, especially the new people entering the industry. It's fun, but they don't realize they have a responsibility to the clients too. You're drawing on somebody's skin. It's not like you can just take an eraser and erase it, You want to be happy but never satisfied. If you're always satisfied, you'll never grow. You'll never evolve. You'll never get to that next level. You'll be stuck there.
Yeah.
Originally, the first tattoo parlors back in the early 1900s were in the back of the barbershops. And the reason why is because all the military were at the barbershops, getting their hair cut every week, so it made sense to put the tattoo shops in the back. So we kind of did the same thing, but we just reversed it. We put the barbershop in the back of the tattoo parlor. When I started owning shops, I would see people coming in, they would say, oh, I got this tattoo 10 years ago, and I wish it looked a little bit different, or I wish it was brighter, so then you start seeing and hearing about laser technology, what's available.
I'm a sedation nurse in the interventional radiology department, and I also work doing tattoo removal for Propaganda Tattoo. The homemade tattoo that was done with calligraphy ink and a needle, those come out pretty quick. The worst tattoos that I run into are the semi-professional or advanced amateur tattoos, and they just grind the ink into the skin. It causes scarring, and they put way more ink than needs to be in there.
The tattoo I'm getting removed right now, I just walked into a tattoo shop, looked at the wall, and said, oh, that's cute, I'll get that. I would never do that ever again.
Many times have done a removal on someone and then done the cover-up on it, So we are still having the ability to do just as many tattoos, if not more.
The one I'm getting removed today, it's a turtle, so it's green, which I understand was the hardest color to remove. When I heard about the new laser, I thought I'd try it again.
We have a trimodal laser, yttrium, an alexandrite, and a ruby laser concentrator in it. So the ruby laser concentrator is really effective on greens. We'll get it down to a shadow to completely gone. The funny thing is this laser's had more trouble with blacks, and it's because many tattoo artists are kind of like chemists with their ink, and they're not just using a plain black. They're tuning their blacks based on other people's skin colors or the image that they want to obtain in the artwork. They're adding blues, they're adding greens.
Most people assume it's one treatment. So the most common questions are, how much does it cost? And will I be able to wear my wedding dress next week after I get it removed?
There was something that this person was carrying around like an albatross around their neck for 30 years, and they hated it. And getting rid of it was like being set free from a prison cell.
We are in pretty much the final stages of our journey. Let's do this together. I've started the cover-up. I've already had 2 sessions, and I'm gonna have a couple more sessions in August. So my arm took a total of 7 on the inside of my arm and 9 on the outside of my arm. So a total of 16 sessions to get to the current state of ready to put something on my arm. And they had blues, greens, purples, yellows, reds, every color in the spectrum of the rainbow I had in there. And I had double. Now that I'm through all the grossness and the horrible part of getting a tattoo removed, I can finally move into a new light, which is putting something awesome there. I found this artist in San Diego that I just totally vibed on what he was doing. He owned the shop. He had 20 plus years of experience. And on top of being an amazing artist, he's just like a great human being. And that made all the difference in the world to me.
I see it every day. I mean, stories like Jake's where here's this tattoo that is really bumming him out. I mean, I don't think people really understand how much that can affect a person. It depends on how sensitive you are, but I've known people to get, you know, like utterly depressed to wake up every day and see this tattoo. And so for this piece, I definitely wanted an old European, old world vibe to it. And, you know, I found these 4 images which have little
He took
nuances.
my idea and he incorporated all of these history books, and also he incorporated his own position. Like he like took himself shirtless in his shed and he had a broom and he had his pose down, and that was the pose that's on my arm. And I just thought, like, man, that guy put so much effort into doing something for me, and I was just so happy.
Just sometimes I see that widow in front of me.
I mean, I've been drawing my whole life. I gotten tattooed while I was in the military, so I already kind of, I think subconsciously recognized that it was a cool art form. I obviously liked it. I got tattooed, a pretty significant sized piece on my upper back.
I had this picture of Saint Michael in the Ukraine, that there's a statue that overlooks the city, beautiful, and he kind of is like protector of heaven, and I thought that was awesome. Then I have a lion, which is kind of like a protector of earth. So I wanted to combine those 2 things of strength and power and put that on my arm and cover up all these things that I was, for years, I just didn't like. He wants you to have exactly what you want, and at the end of the day, it's his piece of artwork, but I'm living with it for the rest of my life. So you both have to be in unison, I think.
So email's great because they email me, I can quickly read through that and know usually right out of the gate if that's a job that's up my alley, something I want to do. It's a process, a few different letters they read and have to respond to, funneling them down to where I can find out, is this person really for real? Normally they just go on the waiting list until I get to them, which could take 1.5 years, 2 years.
When I actually got the ink back in there, I just kind of felt like this is something I can put behind me finally. I'm super stoked to just not have to think about it anymore and to just, you know, show off something that I'm actually proud of.
Getting tattooed really locks in the memory of that experience, you know, so if you got some tattooer that's grumpy or despondent, that tattoo, as you look at it throughout your life, will always remind you of that energy.
Just being patient and enjoying the outline and enjoying the first shading session and just enjoying each time it looks a little different and the intricacies of it. I've really enjoyed that process, and I want to just take it in as opposed to just bam, slam through it and then just try to get obsessed with it. And that's where I was before. I was just obsessed and I kept going and I got so much that I didn't even enjoy the process because I was never satisfied. And then I got to a point where I realized that, man, I just went way too far. And so, yeah, no, after this piece is done, I'm gonna take a break.
Actually, I had to get a tattoo removed. My first wife's name right here on my arm. So you can do anything you want. I mean, drawing Jake's cover up, I didn't even take into it. I had the picture of his arm here as reference, just I don't even know why, because the more I looked at it, I realized that this is just gonna stamp and stomp right over that thing.
It's just sometimes I think
You be the judge and you tell me later on what you think. I just think about the outline itself completely smokes what was done in the past.
I've even postulated, you know, throwing an outline of the design right over a tattoo before removal. Then it's sitting there. Now I can look at it and go, okay, that's shaded, that's dark, that's light. And then I guess, you know, I could tell the tech or whoever, remove this, 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 and this. Don't worry about any of that.
I am done going through it. I've gone through probably 20 plus sessions in different areas of my body, and I'm just done getting zapped. For me, I will make better choices. This won't happen again, because I will not get under that chair again, because it sucks.
We have 12, 13, 14-year-old kids right now on the streets that are covering their necks and their faces and their hands. We've, you know, made it somewhat affordable or more accessible to these kids when it was time for them to mature and realize, damn, I don't need Tupac tattooed on the side of my neck because, you know, I want to be a lawyer, and, you know, unfortunately, Harvard Law is not going to accept me because of this. Let's support that effort to want to change.
If you're gonna go out and get a tattoo, you should really do your homework. You know, there are a lot of really, really great shops, a lot of really great artists, but there are an equal amount of terrible artists and terrible shops.
Make sure to check out their portfolio. You make sure you love that person's work, you know? Everyone have different styles, you know? Even though just like simple as like, I wanna get an eagle, but everybody does it differently.
More often than not, we'll have people come in here late on a weekend and just decide they want to get tattooed, and like, all right, well, what would you like to get tattooed? I don't know. What do you want to do? And it's just like, can't ask the tattooer to tell you what you want. I can come up with 1,000,001 awesome drawings, but are you going to want to have them on you for the rest of your life? Who knows?
Do they have a certificate from the health department framed on their wall or from OSHA? I mean, that's really important. You know, this is an industry that we break open the skin and there's blood, and you want to make sure the shop is clean.
Take a look at the artists, how long they've been doing it, look at their work, see if their work fits your style. Look at people that are showing healed work, not just fresh stuff. People that are doing bigger tattoos, not small tattoos. A fresh tattoo, some people, it'll look great, but not heal well, and then look like shit 2 weeks later when it's healed. Because there's a lot of ways you can cheat on doing a tattoo to make it look right, to get your money and get them out the door, and there's other ways to do it right.
A good tattooer is gonna be a bit of a weight. You know, you can't just go, I'm in the mood right now and I'm gonna walk out and get whatever. You know, it's just, if you want a good tattoo, you might have to wait, or you might have to set an appointment.
And also, just because they do great work doesn't mean you and the client is gonna match either. You know, it has to do with personality and insight, and there's kind of a sort of like a bond too, you know, because you're actually, you know, the guy's gotta trust you to cut in their skin.
Don't get anybody's name or face tattooed on your body unless you made them or they're dead.
It only takes one trip to get it, and it takes multiple. You know, as I said, it took 25 trips for me to get the face gone, and that wasn't even enough, so.
Biggest thing with tattoo removal is you want to make sure they're using a Q-switch laser. There's doctors out there that are using lasers that, you know, are for hair removal and things like that, and they're just turning it up, trying to just get that ink out of there, and all they're doing is scorching it out. I had a gal come in and she just full-on scar all the way across her chest, and it's just tragic.
Make sure they're using the proper equipment, make sure they're certified. They have had tons of clients in the past.
If you're planning on replacing it with a tattoo, find an artist that you want to work with and work with them in the tattoo removal process, because they go hand in hand.
I got tattoos, then I got them removed, and now I'm getting more, I think is all part of the evolution of myself as a person and what represents me now.
If you want to do it, go for it. It's your life. Who gives a shit what people think? That's the whole point of tattooing anyway. If you gave that much of a shit, it wouldn't be cool. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be tattooed because people would tell you, no, oh, don't do that. You gotta get a job, you gotta do this. Tattooing's not about that. It's about doing whatever the fuck you want. So get laser, get new ones. If you got a shitty tattoo, get it lasered, don't do it again, you know? Do a little more research next time.
Do you want to get tattoos when you get older?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you want to get?
I want to get a sleeve that talks about Jesus from the Bible, a cross on my back with vines that says my kid's name. I want stars coming down big to small, and then I want a rose right here. Right here, vampire teeth, and it says bite me.
Is this recording? Get it up there. Yes, take that fucking word. Get that motherfucker up. Wait! Ow! I'm sorry, it hurts.
Next time you move, you're gonna mess up your tattoo.
Okay. Ow!
All right, guys. More salt. And of course we gotta scrub. Fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.